You are a male orca, fully grown, over 30 feet long, close to 10 tons. In the modern ocean, you are not just an apex predator. You are the predator other predators avoid. You hunt with teeth, speed, echolocation, and something even more dangerous, a family that thinks with you. So what happens when we drop a small pod of 4 orcas into Cretaceous ocean? Do they thrive and survive, or suffer and die? Let's find out. You are not supposed to be here. That is the first problem. The second problem is that the ocean does not know what you are. You break the surface in the water that disappeared 66 million years before humans ever named it. You are not just a whale. Technically, you are the largest dolphin on Earth. A warm-blooded, air-breathing predator with thick blubber, conical teeth and echolocation, and a brain built for memory, communication, and social strategy. In the modern ocean, you would be the kind of animal most predators avoid on sight. A black and white warning sign with teeth, speed, and a family behind you. But this is not the modern ocean. The water is warm, too warm. Not impossible because your species can travel through tropical seas. But wrong in a way your body notices immediately. Your blubber holds heat too well. Your skin feels the difference. Your lung pulls in air that is clean but ancient. No engine noise, no ships, no sonar, no plastic, no distant mechanical hum crawling through the water. For the first time in your life, the ocean is quiet, and somehow that makes it worse. Because your pod is listening for the sounds that should be there. Whale songs, dolphin whistles, salmon moving in silver rivers, seals splashing near the surface, the familiar acoustic map of the modern ocean. But none of it comes back. Your echolocation clicks move through the water and return with shapes your brain does not recognize. Long bodies, paddle limbs, heavy skulls, armored shells. Fish the size of small boats, reptiles where mammals should be. Then something moves beneath you. Not a whale, not a shark. Something older, something with scales. Something that has never heard an orca call before. You are not alone though. That is the only reason this does not become panic. Beside you is the matriarch, older than you, scarred across the saddle patch, the one who makes decisions before the rest of the pod even understands there is a decision to make. Near her is a younger female, faster and more curious than careful, already turning her head toward every strange echo in the water. And behind you is the young male, old enough to hunt, young enough to make mistakes, still staying close because even he can feel that this ocean is wrong. 4 orcas. Not a superpod, not 20 animals, just 4. In the modern ocean, that is still not a joke. 4 orcas can coordinate. 4 orcas can surround prey. 4 orcas can teach, learn, call, remember, and plan. But this is the late Cretaceous. The western interior seaway cuts North America in half, stretching from the Gulf of Mexico towards the Arctic. It is shallow, warm, and alive in every direction. Pterosaurs move above the surface. Ammonites drift below it. Giant fish patrol the open water. Sharks cut through the haze. Plesiosaurs glide with long necks and wide flippers. And somewhere below all that, mosasaurs move like living ambushes. This ocean is not empty. It is crowded with monsters. And the first thing you learn is that being an apex predator does not mean you understand the food chain you just entered. The young male spots the first target after 20 minutes. A large fish, silver and muscular, moving alone near the surface. It is not salmon, it is not tuna. It is something older and uglier, with a mouth full of teeth and a body built like a torpedo. Cephactinus, one of the great predatory fish of the Cretaceous Sea. To a modern orca, it looks like food. To the young male, it looks like an easy first kill. That is the kind of thought young predators have right before the ocean corrects them. He rushes from below. The fish turns faster than expected, jaws opening wide enough to make the mistake obvious. Teeth rake along his flank, not deep enough to kill, but deep enough to teach. He recoils. The matriarch calls once, sharp and immediate, and you move. Not panicked, not angry, coordinated. You come from the side, forcing the fish to turn. The younger female blocks the escape angle. The matriarch does not rush. She waits. She lets the fish commit to the wrong direction. Then she hits it from below. The impact folds the fish sideways. You strike again, and the water clouds red. The young male comes in last, more careful this time, taking a bite only after the prey stops thrashing. The first hunt is successful, but nobody in the pod treats it like a victory, because the prey fought like a predator. That is the first rule of this ocean. Almost everything here has teeth. The next few days are spent learning that rule over and over again. You do not starve, that part matters. There is food everywhere. Fish, squid-like animals, smaller sharks, young marine reptiles, turtles. The problem is not finding food. The problem is figuring out which food is worth the injury. A sea turtle seems easy until the younger female bites the shell and gets almost nothing for the effort. Noted. Turtles go on the maybe later if desperate list. A school of smaller fish gets herded toward shallow water, and for a moment, the pod falls back into something familiar. Herd, compress, strike, share. The younger female learns that ancient fish scatter differently than modern prey, but panic still has patterns. Fear is old. Fear works the same in every era. By the end of the first week, the pod is not comfortable, but you are learning. That is the advantage the Cretaceous ocean does not understand yet. Most predators here are powerful because of what they are: teeth, size, armor, ambush, speed. Orcas are powerful because of what they can become after they learn. And your pod is learning fast. Then, on the 9th day, the ocean shows you what actually rules here. It starts with silence. The fish vanish first. Then the shark move low and away. The younger female notices it before the others. The water ahead is full of life, but every animal is leaving the same patch of ocean. Not scattering randomly, clearing space. The matriarch slows. The young male does not. That is the problem with being young in this ocean. You recognize fear after you feel it, not before. The mosasaur comes from below. It decides to go for the younger, the weaker. Not Mosasaurus itself necessarily, but one of the giant mosasaurs of the sea. 40 feet of muscle, scales, teeth, and tail-driven acceleration. A marine lizard built by an ocean that rewards ambush. It does not announce itself with calls. It does not click. It does not coordinate. It appears out of the green darkness with its jaws open. The young male barely survives because you notice fast. You hit the mosasaur from the side before the jaws fully close. It is not enough to hurt the reptile badly, but it changes the angle. The teeth miss the young male's body and catch only water. For half a second, everyone is too close. The mosasaur turns with a stiffness you instantly notice. Powerful, but not agile like you. Built for burst, built for commitment, not built for 4 opponents reading its movement in real time. The matriarch calls. The pod breaks away. Not because you cannot fight, because you do not have to. That is the second rule of this ocean. The biggest animal does not always win, but the animal that chooses bad fights usually dies. The young male stays pressed close to the matriarch for the rest of the day, and something changes in you. In the modern ocean, your size is confidence. Here, it is responsibility. You are the largest body in the pod, the one that can take a hit, the one that has to be between danger and the younger animals when the water turns dark. You do not have a word for that, but your body understands it. After that, the pod changes. You do not understand mosasaurs yet, but you understand enough. Do not drift alone. Do not chase prey downward into dark water. Do not trust empty space. And if the ocean suddenly goes quiet, leave. Weeks pass. The pod stops acting like visitors and starts acting like students. You map the seaway by sound. Not perfectly, but better than anything else here can. You learn that commodities are not worth the effort. You learn that some sharks flee immediately, while others test you once and regret it. The young male scars heals into a pale line. The younger female becomes the experimenter. She discovers that some fish can be stunned with tail slaps near the surface. She discovers that smaller marine reptiles panic when attacked from multiple angles. She discovers that the pod's calls confuse animals that have never evolved around vocal hunters. And that last part matters, because in the modern ocean, many animals have spent millions of years reacting to marine mammals. Seals know orcas, dolphins know orcas, whales know orcas. Even sharks, in some places, know when to leave. But the Cretaceous has never heard an orca call. For the first time, the pod uses sound to coordinate a hunt around a group of smaller sharks. The sharks do not understand what is happening until the exits are gone. One orca drives, one blocks, one waits, one finishes. It is not brute force, it is geometry. That is when the ecosystem begins to notice. Not all at once. Ecosystems do not hold meetings. No mosasaur swims up and says, "The black and white things are a problem now." Let me get this straight. The pod is not dominating the whole seaway. That would be ridiculous. 4 orcas cannot own an ocean the size of a continent. But you can change one region, and that is how apex predators really work. Not by killing everything, by making everything calculate differently. By the 3rd month, the pod has territory. Not in the human sense, no borders, no map, just a circuit of water you understand better than the animals around you. A shallow hunting ground with fish, a deeper channel you avoid during certain hours, a reef where smaller prey gathers, and a warm lagoon that is safe enough for the young male to rest near the surface. Safe enough. That is what survival becomes here. Not safe, safe enough. Then the younger female makes the mistake that nearly breaks the pod. She finds a juvenile mosasaur, not a giant, not the 40-foot animal from before. This one is maybe 12 feet long, lean, fast, and alone near the edge of a reef. To the pod, it looks like opportunity. The matriarch hesitates. You move in anyway. The younger female circles wide. The young male stays back, which is the smartest decision he has made all month. At first, it works. The young mosasaur turns toward you, and the younger female hits it from behind. The matriarch blocks the downward escape route. The reptile twists, snaps, misses. Snaps again, misses again. It is dangerous, but overwhelming. For the first time, the pod is not running from a mosasaur. You are hunting one. Suddenly, the water below you moves. The adult arrives without a sound. Maybe it is a juvenile's mother. Maybe it is just a larger predator drawn by blood and movement. It does not matter. It rises from beneath the reef like the ocean opening a mouth. The first bite catches you across the flank. Not a full grip. If it had been full, you would be dead. But the teeth tear through skin and blubber, and the water turns red around you. The pod reacts instantly. The matriarch calls retreat. The younger female does not want to leave. The juvenile mosasaur is injured. The hunt is almost finished. Hunger, momentum, and pride all say stay. The matriarch calls again. This time, everyone listens. They abandon the kill. The adult mosasaur takes it instead. For 3 days, you swim slower. The wound is ugly, not fatal, but close enough to remind the pod what close means. The young male stays near you, touching flippers at the surface, confused by the injury, but understanding the mood. The younger female stops rushing ahead. That is the 3rd rule of this ocean. The prey can have backup too. After that, the pod becomes different, more patient, more dangerous. You stop treating the Cretaceous like a modern ocean with strange animals in it. You start treating it like its own system. Adult mosasaurs are not prey. They are weather. You do not fight weather. You read it, avoid it, and survive around it. Young mosasaurs are possible prey only in open water, never near reefs, never near deep drop-offs, never when visibility is bad. Large fish are worth hunting when isolated. Sharks are worth hunting when they can be rolled, stunned, or split from the group. Plesiosaurs are not worth the risk unless injured. Too much neck, too much flipper, too much uncertainty. Turtles are emergency food. Commodities are ignored. Your world becomes a living list of rules written in scars. And that is when the pod becomes truly dangerous. Because once orcas understand a prey animal, they stop being just predators, they become specialists. The first perfect hunt happens near the end of the 4th month. This time, it is not Zoophagolus. It is Simolichthys, another predatory fish of the western interior seaway. The young male starts to hunt, not by attacking, by being seen. He moves close enough to trigger the fish's aggression, then turns away before the charge. The Simolictus follows exactly the way the pod needs it to. The young male leads it toward you, and you rise from below and force it sideways. The younger female hits the tail. The matriarch comes in last and strikes the head. The fish dies in less than a minute. Clean, efficient, learned. And this is the part the Cretaceous ocean was not built for. It was built for jaws. It was built for armor. It was built for ambush and blood and size. It was not built for culture. And slowly the question changes. At first, it was, can orcas survive the Cretaceous? Now, it is, what happens when the Cretaceous starts learning to fear orcas? The pod has become part of the seaway's decision-making. That is real dominance. Not absolute control, influence. Still, the Cretaceous does not let anyone win forever. Near the 6th month, the giant mosasaur returns. This time, the young male hears it first. The same young male that once rushed ahead now gives the alarm call. The matriarch turns immediately. The pod moves as one. The mosasaur rises from below exactly where the young male would have been months ago. But he is not there anymore. The attack misses by a full body length. You move to block. The younger female moves wide. The matriarch does not attack the head, because that would be stupid. And the whole point of surviving 6 months here is not being stupid in the same way twice. You harass the mosasaur's flanks. Not enough to kill, not even close. Just enough to make the math annoying. One bite from the mosasaur could change everything, but one clean target never appears. The pod does not try to win. You make the fight expensive. After several minutes, the giant turns away. Not defeated, repositioning, finding somewhere else to be. The pod stays together long after it disappears. Nobody celebrates. Predators do not need to celebrate survival. They just keep breathing. But something has changed. The young male is no longer just protected by the pod. He's protecting the pod back. And you are no longer just the strongest body in the family. You are the scarred one now. The one that had learned what the giant's teeth feel like. The one that stood between the pod and the dark. Not because you knew you'd win, but because someone had to be there. So, that is the final answer. A small pod of orcas would not instantly rule the late Cretaceous ocean. That ocean is too dangerous, too unfamiliar, too full of animals that can kill them if they make one bad decision. A lone orca would probably die. A reckless pod would probably die. A pod that had tried to fight adult mosasaurs head-on would absolutely learn why the Cretaceous had its own apex predators. But a careful pod? A communicating pod? A family group that can test, learn, remember, and change? That pod has a real chance. You would avoid the giants at first. You would make mistakes. You would get hurt. You would lose easy opportunities because you could not yet read the ecosystem. But over time, your greatest weapon would not be your teeth, your size, or even your speed. It would be the fact that you do not have to make the same mistake twice. That is what makes orcas terrifying. They are terrifying because they learn. The late Cretaceous Sea was built for giant reptiles and armored prey and ambush predators with mouths full of knives. It was one of the most dangerous marine ecosystems Earth has ever produced. But it had never seen anything quite like 4 intelligent mammals moving as one family through the water, turning every failure into strategy. You surface at sunset. The air is warm. The sea is ancient. Somewhere far below, a mosasaur moves through the dark. Somewhere ahead, fish gather near the reef. Above you, pterosaurs cross the orange sky over an ocean that should not contain whales. The matriarch breathes first. Then you. Then the younger female. Then the young male, scarred now, older now, listening. The ocean is still wrong. It will always be wrong. But after 6 months, it is no longer unknown. And for 4 orcas, that makes all the difference. You do not own the Cretaceous. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But you have survived it. And the ocean has started taking notes. Anyway, that is the video. I thought this was a unique idea for a simulation because we had seen prehistoric creatures get dropped into the modern world plenty of times. But I wanted to flip it around. What happens when one of the smartest apex predators alive today gets dropped into a prehistoric ocean? And now to address the elephant in the room. Yeah, a lot of you probably clicked this thinking it was a certain type of content creator's video. I get it. I'm sorry for the little bit of confusion. Can't really blame me though. I also thought this idea hadn't really been used much before, so I figured, why not try it myself? If there can be a cinema sins and a cinema wins, then why can't I have something like this too? I will be the yang to his yin. Also, I noticed about 1% of my viewers are subscribed. So if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Maybe even leave a comment. Maybe about another modern animal you'd want to see in a prehistoric setting. It genuinely goes a long way for me, and I would really appreciate it. And if you guys enjoyed this video, check out my shorts, because I have some pretty good, interesting concepts there. And with that said, guys, I have a lot of great ideas for future simulations, so please stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.